It's no symbol, but you can see the title. What if God wanted you to pray for your children's father, even if he's a deadbeat? Every so often, there's messages that challenge us that, why would God tell me to pray for somebody like that? Let's get into the word. Ephesians 6:4. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger by the way you treat them. Rather, bring them up with the discipline and instruction that comes from the Lord. Colossians 3:21. Fathers, do not provoke your children so they will not become discouraged. Now, if you that's verse 21. Subtract that from verse 4. That makes it 17. God is something. When you see God's a God of numbers, man, I'm telling you, you'll see he just does stuff. But you asking me, why would God ask me to pray for my children's father? Like, why would he ask me to pray for that dude? Like, why would he ask me to pray for them? I don't like them. I don't like the way they act. Some of them don't treat my child or my children the way they should. But what if the enemy, right? What if the enemy was telling them? Because, anytime a father doesn't take care of his own children, there's always situations and circumstances why. Now, some parents, they do, use them as pawns. And some parents, there's like arguments and stuff like that. I'm not saying that that's anybody. Those are just some cases, you know what I'm saying? But what the enemy likes to do is he doesn't want the fathers to be there in their children's lives. So what happens is, what if the enemy is like, you know what? You got all that guilt and all that shame and stuff like this. And so just go ahead and take care of somebody else's children and it'll be okay. So they feel like that they're righting their own wrong by taking care of other people's children and not their own. Something to think about when you understand how somebody can take care of somebody else's children and not their own. Well, let's get back into the word. Proverbs 16:7. When your ways please the Lord, God will make your enemies be at peace with you. Well, they're not my enemy. What if they're a temporary enemy? When I was studying that, enemies in the dictionary means anybody causing hatred in your life. Thus, you put temporary before it, which could be your children's father. Luke 6:28. Bless them that curse you and pray for them which despitefully use you, despitefully on purpose. Verse 35. But love your enemies, do good to them. Again, we talk about temporary enemies, and lend to them expecting nothing in return. That's prayer, because God said, whatever you do secretly, I'll reward you openly. Then your reward will be great, and you will be sons of the Most High. Now watch this. For he is kind to the ungrateful and wicked. So you be like, you know what? Yeah, he ungrateful or whatever like this. Yeah, but he deserves your prayer. This goes vice versa, but this is just what God's talking about today. Matthew 5:44. So I like the King James Version because it expands and tells the whole thing. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you. Yeah, some people are hated. Some be like, oh, I hate my baby mama. I don't even like to use that term. I like the word children's mother or children's father. It just sounds so much nicer. So the baby daddy. It sounds like it has a negative concept to it. You know what I'm saying? It says, but pray for them that despitefully use you, again on purpose, and persecute you. They talk about you, they run your name in your mouth. And watch this. 1 Peter 3:9. Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. Wait, what, God? So you mean to tell me if they talk about me, I can't talk about them? That is correct. You should not. You should be praying for them, even if you don't want to. But watch this. Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult, but with blessing, because to this you were called, so that you may inherit a blessing. How do I inherit a blessing? I don't repay insult with insult, or I don't repay evil for evil. So if I pray for them, then I will get these blessings. The scripture says, no good thing will God withhold from those who walk uprightly. Yes. Galatians 6:10. Therefore, as we have the opportunity, let us do good to all, especially to those who are in the household of faith. Proverbs 3:27. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, when it is in your power to act. Even though they're treating you the way they're treating you, they still deserve your prayers. And you're like, why, God? Why would you want me to pray for my children's father after the way they act? I mean, he ain't even in their life. Some people are like, you know what? Oh, well, he only send child support, or he only do a little bit of this, or he don't even see them, or maybe he's incarcerated, you know what I'm saying? Or anything like that. But they deserve our prayers, because watch this. If you pray for him, even to be a better father to his children, you know, and what happens is, because some may have some bitterness towards their children's father, you know, saying that, oh, well, now he gonna go take it, he can go this, he can't take care of mine or whatever like this. You still need to pray for them, because you don't want that bitterness to take root or anything like that. But the reason why God has asked you to do that is because Isaiah 55:8, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are my ways your ways, says the Lord. Verse 9, for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So anything that God tells you to do that doesn't feel so good, or that doesn't make any sense, is beneficial for you. Now, there have been times, you know, dealing with my children's mother, I did not want to pray for her. I'm going to just put it like that. I'm not going to go into details, but I did not. But you know what? God said you have to pray for her. And I'm like, God, I don't want to. She despitefully used me, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, and even back then, you know, there was times when, especially when my children were first here, I would get mad, and I threw insult for insult. When I was insulted, I insulted. And I was good. I knew how to throw some words that hurt, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't right, and God convicted me of that. And I had to go ask for forgiveness, even though I didn't want to. And I was like, I feel justified. Like, she said this, I'm going to say this. She said this, I'm going to say this. And, you know, I wanted to say some things, and God, like, you can't do that. Like, that's not right. That's almost like your sister in Christ now, because, you know, after I decided, you know, well, we're not going to deal with this chapter anymore in life, you know what I'm saying? And God was like, how can you work for me and you can't love your enemies, your temporary enemies? And I'm like, God, I don't want to be nice. But when I began to do that, he was like, don't your children deserve better? That you pray for her? And I'm like, God, you know what? You're right. You know what I'm saying? Because, and God told me, he said, if you tell your children what you don't like and all this stuff, and, you know, you throw her name in the ground and stuff like that, he said, in return, it's going to hurt your children. And I was like, I don't want that. And so when I was mad and I wasn't trying to hear God, you know, I was listening, but I wasn't trying to understand what he was saying. I'm like, I'm just gonna forgive her. I'm just gonna do this. But when I got down and when I learned, I listened to God, it was making sense. Okay, God, because they deserve a better her and they deserve a better me. You know what I'm saying? For me to respect her and to pray for her and things like that. And that's what it's about, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it did hurt, you know. And listen, my feelings was valid, you know what I'm saying? Because the stuff that was said was hurt, and, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not going to go into details, you know what I'm saying? But there was times it hurt, and there was times I cried, you know what I'm saying? Certain situations and circumstances and things that I had to deal with and go through. But she still deserved my prayers, you know what I'm saying? Even when I didn't want to. So that's the challenge today, you know. And yes, they might be a deadbeat dad, but just pray for them. And it might take some years, but watch God work, because it's better beneficial for your children. You know what I'm saying? Even if they're not there, because you never know what the reason is. You never know the lies that the enemy has told them or whatever like that. But today's message is to challenge you. That's why I didn't put Happy Father's Day, because if I would have put Happy Father's Day first, they'd be like, oh, this is not for me, this is for the fathers or whatever like that. Nah, today, and say, oh, it's not because of me, you know, you have nothing to do with it. That child one day will say, you know what? If it wasn't for me, my parents would not be arguing. If it wasn't for me, I probably wouldn't even have a conversation or anything like that. But because y'all tied, that's where you got to get to. And that's where I had to understand that. And so, yeah, sometimes these messages challenge you, because God challenged me, so I'm just giving it back. So I just want to say, you know what, to God be the glory. Pray for them. And listen, it might take some time. You might just say, Lord, thy will be done. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard when you have been hurt by somebody have ran your name in the mud, called you out your name several times, or lied on you. That's hard. That's hard. So it may take some time, but they do deserve your prayers. Love y'all. God bless. But also understand this. God said in our weakness, he is made strong. I think that's 2 Corinthians 12:9. So ask God to help you with that.